Welcome back to the Sonic Boomers. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
And this is the 6th year of the Sonic Boomers podcast, and we thank everybody for being with us over the years. And this is the podcast where we talk about, well, just about everything and anything. And on this edition of the Sonic Boomers, we have a dilemma. We just had here in the Northeast a big snowstorm within the last, 2 weeks now? Close to 2 weeks.
Close to 2 weeks, yeah.
New York City had 16 inches of snow. Here at Sonic Boomers headquarters, we had a little over a foot. And here's the dilemma. Here's our question. If you spend 4 or 5 hours shoveling out a spot for yourself on the street, do you have a right to that space? Now, here where we live, this is a housing development of 700 homes. And Maureen is laughing because I know it's exactly 705. And she always kids me when I talk about our development. She'll say 705 homes. So I was trying to dance around a little bit, and I got the look. All right, there are 705 homes. And each one of those homes has a driveway. But that driveway will maybe accommodate 2 vehicles unless you've had it widened. But the standard driveway could about hold 2 vehicles. And as time has gone on, families have gotten bigger in these houses. And so sometimes you have mom and dad, and you have kids who are now older, and they have their own cars. Or maybe you have more family living with you. Maybe you have 2 families in your home. The fact is, you may need more parking space. And I'll tell you, our streets here in the village really got clobbered, and they did a really nice job plowing the street. But the snow was piled up. It had to be 3 feet out beyond the curb. If you're trying to park in 12 inches of snow, you got a problem.
Yeah, you have to dig it out.
You have to dig a space for yourself. So my question is, when you dig a space for yourself, does that mean that you and you alone are entitled to use that space? And if somebody should take your space, do you really have the right to go out there and damage their vehicle? Or we saw one video, we were watching Lindy Glenn on YouTube, and Lindy does like crazy reaction video. She's a lot of fun. And she just did one about people who went out and got revenge on people that took their spot after they spent 4 or 5 hours on shoveling. And they would shovel the snow back onto the person's car, pile it up good and high, and then they would dump buckets of water onto it so it would freeze hard.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that car out of there anytime soon.
That's for sure.
And it's a crappy thing to do.
It's one of those things that you ask the question, do you have the right to that space once you've done the hard work of shoveling it out? Legally, I would say no. It's public street. Everybody has access to it.
Right. Legally, the answer is no.
However, ethically, etiquette-wise, I think that you gotta be at least a little bit empathetic towards your neighbors, and especially if you know that they have worked so hard shoveling it out. I really think you kind of owe it to them in the essence of being a good neighbor to at least, have some consideration for each other.
You do, and I would like to think most people do, but unfortunately, we are at a time in our culture where it's all about me. And it's all about what I want. It's all about, well, I know it's not mine, but I want it, so I'm going to take it.
But
I wonder where that came from. Can you think of anybody who does that? Usually the law says, even if you spent 4 hours shoveling out, once it's on the street, it's public space.
Right.
And anybody can park there. And you do not have a right to it legally. nor do you have the right, and I've seen people do this, and again, no judgment here, I'm just saying people do it, to put your garbage cans in that spot, or some people actually have the cones, the orange cones. They put them there.
Lawn chairs. Yeah.
Lawn chairs to try and mark their spot. Look, you're not on a cruise ship, okay? You don't get to put your flip-flops on the chair and mark that as yours, because now there is somebody who will take your flip-flops and throw them overboard and take your chair.
But and this is going against my nice girl image of Maureen Torriello, but the passive-aggressive person in me,
yes.
If I spent 3-4 hours shoveling something out like that and you block me in, I may not damage your car or do quite the extreme that they showed on Lindy.
But I'll give you a dirty look when you go out to your car.
But I would not be beyond shoveling a little more snow around the car that you have to now clear. I'm kind of like empathetic towards the people that would desire to do something.
Oh, I am too.
Like I said, I wouldn't want to do anything that I could get arrested for, or that that would be liable for property damage or anything. But I'd let it be known that I wasn't happy. Let's put it that way.
When I was watching Lindy's video, and I saw people like dumping, and at one point it was like half the block showed up.
Yeah.
And they were dumping snow on this guy's car. And yeah, there was the part of me that said, yeah, get him. That was a crappy thing to do, to take somebody's space. So get him. But legally, you cannot do it.
Right.
And you can face legal repercussions if you damage somebody's vehicle.
And in one of the episodes that they showed, and I really, this is where it gets kind of tricky, is the person who did the shoveling was a single mom of a disabled child who required ability to get a wheelchair to the car to be able to take them out to do whatever, from school to groceries to doctor's appointments or whatever. They needed that pathway. And the person that came and stole the space just railroaded right through all that. And this person was like...
Didn't she even put a note? I think she put a note out there.
I'm not sure if that's the same one, because they all kind of blend in my mind. There was one where somebody did put a note that if you take this space, you will be sorry or something. But I don't think that was her. But in this case, now she's a single mom, invested her time. Her kid needs access. It seems to me like there ought to be some way that they ought to issue something that would designate that space to be hers.
Kind of like
a handicap
placard for your car.
Yeah, I think that they ought to have some kind of way.
Of course, you will have, as I'm sure happens with the handicap placards, you will have people fabricating their own.
Well, it's not so easy. I mean, I wouldn't know how to do it, so I don't know.
Well, I'll show you.
But I really think that
there should be.
You can't be so like a blanket law that fits every need, and I think in that case, I really would like to see some kind of accommodation made. Something
that you could stick into the snow with a sign on it.
Yeah.
And the sign is registered, and that's not to say that some chooch is not going to stop and take your sign and go throw it somewhere and park there. I mean,
right. But
let's face it, people are doing really selfish things sometimes.
Yeah. But at least it would be a start, I think, in a step in the right direction.
So let's say you needed to park somewhere for just a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you take somebody's space. Now, how would you handle that?
Do
you think it's okay?
The owner of the space, you mean?
No, as the person that's looking for a parking spot.
Yeah.
And you only need to be there for 10, 15 minutes. You're not parking overnight. You're not going to be there all day.
Right.
What do you do? Because you know that's not your space. What do you do? Do you take your chances?
It's very situational. If I'm a stranger in that neighborhood and don't know anything about it, and I know for sure I'm only going to be 10 minutes, I might take my chances. Let's say, you're going to visit our daughter, and you want to park in front of her house, and it's been shoveled either by her or by the plows coming through or the neighbors or whatever. You don't know who is friendly and who isn't friendly in that neighborhood. And, if you were going to just say you had to drop off a package for her or something and you were just going to pull in real quickly, you don't know the neighbor, so you can't ask, and you would, I think you'd kind of take your chances.
Not to mention a lot of people today, they won't open their door. They won't answer their door.
That's true
Even
too.
in our development here, a lot of people say, I don't even open my door.
Yeah.
If somebody rings the doorbell and I'm not expecting them, I don't open it.
Yeah. So, you can't have it both ways, I guess is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Either, you want to go and ask, that's one thing. But if you're not going to open your door and somebody parks there, well, you've kind of caused that.
Yeah. And of course, there's always the possibility that even if you're just saying, well, I'm only going to be here 10 minutes. I'm only going to be here 5 minutes.
Yeah. And it winds up being longer.
It winds up being longer, or somebody who shoveled that space shows up, or somebody from the family or whatever shows up.
In those 10 minutes.
And you're in that spot.
Yeah. I'm all about thinking out of the box and trying to come up with solutions. Maybe the thing would be to stick a note on your windshield, be back in 10 minutes. Sorry for the inconvenience. I'm coming right back.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So that the person doesn't go from 0 to 180. Maybe they go from 0 to 90.
Yeah. Or hopefully, the person that is coming into that spot can see the note and say, well, it's 10 minutes. I'll just drive around a little bit. I'll ride around, or, I'll go get a coffee or something.
Right,
and
right.
Hopefully when I come back, they're out of here.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it? If you want to do it without putting your name on it, you can do that. We want to know if you spent 4 hours or so shoveling out a space for your car on the street, do you have exclusive right to that spot? Is that your spot and nobody else's, even though the law says it is not? And if somebody does park in that spot,
what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it? So let us know in the comments below. And of course, this is the time where we would also ask you that if you like this show in any way, if you find it educational, amusing, funny, please give us a like. That is the best thing that you can do for a podcaster, because it helps us to get more looks on the YouTube platform. Give us a like, and boy, we sure as heck would like to have a subscription. We're on YouTube about 4 years. We have almost 100 subscribers.
Yay!
I mean, other people have 400,000 subscribers. Can you help a couple of old people out and just give us a subscription so we can at least get to 100 subscribers? We really would appreciate that and not feel as badly about ourselves as we do. Until the next edition of the Sonic Boomers, I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.